Hey, welcome back. In this video, I just want to show you my ranch, how I actually have set it up with completely the future of Slime Rancher 2 in mind. But I will explain all that in just a second. Let me just start with the tour already. So right now I'm over here at the entrance of the conservatory. The honey gordo and the phosphor gordo are already welcoming us. And over here, we actually immediately have 4 corals and 4 gardens. These are all honey largos. I still need to empty out their corals, apologies. But these are all honey largos. For that reason, I am feeding them their mint mangoes, which is their favorite food. So over here, I have the cotton, the hunter, and then over here, we actually have the flutter and the boom. Now, the reason that I actually have these specific slimes set up here is just to fill up the refinery. So right now, I'm just working towards that because as you can see, I still have a little bit of work to do. I really want to fill up the refinery for the very simple reason is whenever a future update comes out or just for all the refinery links and market links and teleporters that I still want to build, I want to get my refinery just as full as possible so I don't really need to bother with just going out and getting specific slimes, start ranching them once again to just get the floors that I need. So for that reason, I just want to fill up the refinery and this main part and a few other parts of the ranch are completely set up with that in mind. Now, I actually also over here have my 2 portals set up. So over here, we actually have the main one for the Starlit Strand and the other one is the Ember Valley. Both of those are locked away in treasure ponds behind the Boom and the Flutter Gordo, in case you want to know. And over here, I actually only have 1 teleporter. There are 4 total that you can craft, and I have only crafted 1 so far. But this one is the Great Teleporter, and this one immediately brings me to this part of the lava zone in Ember Valley, which houses a lot of different slimes and, of course, food. So let's just go back and let's continue the tour. Now, let's go to my favorite expansion, and that is going to be the den. Now, the den is just really useful. Now, because you actually have a roof right above you, this is a really perfect place to just house you the 3 slimes that are very light sensitive. So that's going to be, of course, the ringtail, the baddie, and the phosphor. The phosphor disappears during the day, the baddie gets angry, and the ringtail becomes a statue. So this is a really perfect place if you don't want to invest into a solar shield. It's not that I can't afford a solar shield, but let's be honest, it's just a really cool setting for baddie slimes in general. And because they are all baddie largos, I am actually just feeding them their favorite food, pomegranate over here. And over here, there are 2 more gardens. Now, this right now is the only expansion with a refinery link and a market link. Now, all the other expansions already have a refinery link, but I still need the resources to actually craft a few minor market links. But of course, once I got them, I'm going to craft them and immediately just place them in all these expansions. I'm also working towards getting as many refinery links in the area, so I want at least 3 in every area. So 3 in the Starlit Strand, 3 in the Ember Valley, and probably a few more over here in Rainbow Island. So I can just immediately pick up those resources and immediately throw them into a refinery link. Next up, let me just show you the Archway. Now, the Archway is a little bit set up differently than most people probably. So first of all, I have a silo and a garden. I'm going to explain those 2 in a second, but mainly I house over here my fire slimes. So 1, 2, 3 incinerators with 4 slimes in each. And I fuel these incinerators, of course, with this garden. Now, I actually am using this garden for 2 reasons. Now, first of all, I'm just using these to fuel the incinerator, but also to fill up that silo. Now, over here, this silo, I want every storage spot to be completely full with 1 specific type of fruit or vegetables in Slime Rancher 2. I want to have all available fruit and vegetables in this silo over here and just always place them in that garden. Just give a part to the silo so I can completely fill it up and the other part to the fire slimes. If I don't have enough to actually fuel all the incinerators, I can use the roaming fruit from the pogo trees and of course the carrots, of course, so that I can always use to light the fire of the incinerators, which I obviously need to do really soon. Now, the reason that I actually want this silo to have all types of fruit and vegetables are mainly, I don't know what the future of Slime Rancher 2 is going to bring, so I am immediately prepared for that. And also just whenever I change a larger combination in my ranch, I can just immediately come over here, get their favorite food and plant it immediately into the gardens, which is just really handy. Next up, let me show you the Gully. So the Gully over here houses my 2 corals with my pink rock largos and over there rock angler largos. So both are rock, so I am feeding them heartbeats from 3 specific gardens. I have a refinery link in the back. Now the reason I'm using these 2 is once again, this one is just to fill up the refinery and the other one is just mainly because I need pink pores a lot for specific resources, including the market link if I'm not mistaken. So I need these guys not only to fill the refinery link, but I need their resources right now. And apparently they already have a little bit laying there for me, so that's nice. And of course, there are also chickens over here. They spawn randomly, and whenever I pick them up, I throw them into the angler slime coral, so that way, nothing gets lost. And when talking about chickens, let's move on to tide pools. Now the tide pools is completely set up with 3 coops. I'm not actively using them I wanted to prevent an outbreak because I already saw it coming really quickly. I was just having way too many chickens breed way too quickly, and I just thought, like, if I'm going to leave it like this, I'm going to have a problem in a second. But either way, I have 3 coops over here, and I have 1 coral and a silo. Now the main breeding system was very simple, so 4 hens and 2 roosters in each coop. I actually had sea hens, briar hens, stony hens. I had everything just growing in here. And basically, whenever I had more than those 4 hens and 2 roosters, I would just throw the adults into that silo and the chickadoos over there. If you would leave those chickadoos in here, at a certain point, the coop wouldn't contain them anymore, and you would actually have like hens just spawning outside of the coops, and then, it would be just a big mess. I actually already covered that in the past video. So for that reason, I would actually just take the chickadoos out of there, and I would just throw them into this coral because they can't really escape this coral once they're in here. And once they're grown, I just throw them into the silos where I already have a lot of roosters, stony hens, briar hens, regular hens, and of course sea hens. Now this tide pools area is also really great for a very simple reason, is you actually have 2 pools of water over here. So one over here and one over here. So that is actually a really great spot to just house some puddle slimes. So that way you can just actually place them in here for free, and you don't need to build a pond, which is really nice. Now I can actually already guess what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, this guy isn't really making use of his ranch's full potential. I'm barely making use of the tide pools area or just the archway, and that is completely true. I agree with you, but the reason I'm doing that is just to actually save some time. The more corals and gardens I have in there, the more times that I actually have to spend emptying the gardens, emptying the plort collectors, filling the auto feeders, and that's just time that I'm not really willing to give up right now. Now, there was actually one more thing that I wanted to show you in my ranch, and that was going to be this ring-tailed gordo over here on top of my house. Now, if you actually want to know how to do that, I will explain all that in this video right here, but don't click on just yet. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on everything Slime Rancher 2 related. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you over there.